Flower essences are believed to be the very spirit of a plant's bloom. If that plant is growing in a crack, consider the struggle it had to endure in order to grow. Also, what's taken into consideration are the shape of the bloom and the color. So it is what makes that bloom that bloom. It is significant in emotional healing because if you're struggling and you use a flower remedy that has been struggling, it understands how to deal and thrive through that struggle. Hi, I'm Mary Bourne, traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people for better health. Natural remedies have been around for thousands of years, and they've stayed with us because they work. Flower essences are true energy medicine, as it is the vibrations that can set us on an emotional healing path. This science was first discovered by Dr. Edward Bach in England, and you can find out more information about the original 38 remedies by checking out the website BACHCENTRE.com. So it's Bach Center, but it's spelled the English way with the RE.com. And one of his original quotes is, "The 38 herbs heal gently and surely, and as there are no poisonous plants amongst them, there is no fear of ill effects from overdoses or incorrect prescription." So in other words, it either works or it doesn't work. There's no bad side effects to taking them. You're either right on or you're not. And the company that I work with, Nature Sunshine, has taken away a lot of the mystique of how to choose a flower essence remedy that will help. So Dr. Bach was an accomplished medical doctor with a full practice, as well as a research scientist in vaccines. But in 1917, he collapsed and was rushed to be operated on for a tumor. After surgery, he was told he only had 3 months to live. He was driven by his work and decided he'd spend those 3 months doing what he loved to do, helping the soldiers recover from their battle wounds. Dr. Bach felt dissatisfied with the way doctors were expected to concentrate on diseases and ignore the whole person. He aspired to a more holistic approach to medicine. Perhaps this explains why, not being a homeopath, he took a post at the Royal London Homeopathic Hospital. Remember, this occurred 100 years ago, and medical doctors are still focusing on disease and not the whole person. He began collecting plants, and in particular flowers, the most highly developed part of the plant, in the hope of replacing the ingredients in the vaccines he was developing and creating a more gentle way, hi Karen, of helping people move stuck emotions and help them heal faster. Just as he had abandoned his home, office, and work, Dr. Bach began to abandon the scientific method and its reliance on laboratories and reductionism. He instead used his natural gifts as a healer, allowing his intuition to guide him to the right plants. He found 38 and began using them to help soldiers get over the conditions based on fear. Back then, PTSD was called shell shock, and Dr. Bach understood that his energy medicine could help his patients move through the horrors of war. He found that when he treated the personalities and feelings of these patients, their unhappiness and physical distress would be alleviated naturally, as the healing potential in their bodies was unlocked and allowed to work once more. Some of his basic flower remedies are still used today, and they can be purchased individually, but through my work, and I used to use these along with the Flower Essence Society in California, and I've been in practice for over 40 years, so I had an opportunity to test out different ones. And I have to tell you, the ones that I'm using now are the most powerful and least harmful of any of them that I've worked with. So the main remedy I use is called the stress remedy, and it's based on Dr. Bach's rescue remedy. But the main difference is that these remedies that Dr. Bach created are 30% alcohol, and most people cannot tolerate the taste of that alcohol. Alcoholics can't handle it, children can't handle it, pregnant women can't handle it, and the elderly. So the ones that I use are glycerin based, and they can be used by anybody, even pets, farm animals. Anybody can use these remedies. And believe me, we all have emotional distress. So, distress remedy is a vibrational medicine that seems to help the person get back to the feeling of being balanced and in control. Now, it is my theory, and please understand that this is just anecdotal theory, that what these remedies do is they connect to the vagus nerve. And I hope that somebody will latch on to that in the scientific community and work with it and create proof that when these remedies work with the vibrations in the vagus nerve and can communicate with the vagus nerve to send the information from the gut back up to the brain, that we're working on these emotions, we're working on these, we're setting our body into a healing path. And so that's my theory. So the distress remedy, let me read to you just a paragraph here. It says, distress remedy is a flower essence formula designed for those suffering from any type of emotional, mental, or physical shock or trauma. This is like the basic remedy. Everybody, every household should have a distress remedy on hand, because we all, through one way or another, go through trauma. We have pets that die, we have relatives that get sick, we have injuries, accidents, all kinds of things that can interrupt and create trauma in our body and interrupt the health path. So distress remedy soothes extreme distress, restores emotional stability and self-control, fosters acceptance and inner peace, and promotes courage, faith, and healing. So you can find these sheets on my website, bornforhealth.com, and it goes in depth as to all of the 7 flowers that are in this formula and how each of them help to deal with trauma and accidents and emotional concerns. So the supplements I talk about in these classes can be found, like I said, on my website, and which is bornforhealth.com, and you simply look over where it says Herb Encyclopedia, and it's A through Z. So like on the distress remedy, you would go to the D's, click down on the distress remedy, and then the paper, the PDF is printable, and you can share it with others. And you know, Thanksgiving is here, and great time to share help and support with those who need it. So this remedy is wonderful to have on hand for any shock or trauma. So I'm going to go into how it can be used at the end of this video. So it helps when you've had an accident, and is good for if you're going to go through surgery. You'll want to prepare the body for the best outcome ever. And so you want to take some distress remedy. You can disguise it in various ways. And if you don't want your medical doctor to know that you're taking the distress remedy, you can put it in water and keep it by your bedside, and have somebody who comes to visit you bring it, or there's various ways that you can do this, and it does not interrupt any kind of medical regime that you're doing. So it is really good. It's great for children. You know, children deal with a lot of stress these days. So I hope that you will share this video with others and let them know that their children don't have to suffer the trauma that they often don't share with you. You can do distress remedy even if there are no signs of trauma. So each Monday I send out an electronic newsletter I call Herbal Egram, and in this particular Monday, yesterday's egram, I called the Cascade of Illness. And you can become part of the subscription for this simply by emailing me, Dr. Mary at bornforhealth.com, and saying I'd like the free newsletter delivered in my inbox every Monday. You can stop it at any time. I don't give my list out to anybody. It's totally private. So I hope that you take advantage of this, and you can look at all of the past issues simply by going to my website and check out the newsletter part. So be sure to click on hearts if you're appreciating this, or send some comments. I love hearing from all of you, and if you have something personal, you can send me an email, Dr. Mary at bornforhealth.com, and I will answer it. I usually do that within 24 hours of receiving the email. So as I mentioned, flower essence have no smell even though they are made from flowers. These remedies are more like homeopathics. They aren't nutritive but can be used as any part or adjunct in your health regime. So I feel that most disease has an emotional component. This has been scientifically checked out by many scientists. There have been some scientists that have written books about how the emotional component of disease helps us to unwrap the gene and express it, even in particular cancer. So I feel that you can take these on a regular basis. Like I said, you can prepare for the trauma, like the Boy Scouts, be prepared. And you can move stuck emotions. Now, a lot of us walk around with this Santa Claus bag of stuff that we carry with us day to day. Oftentimes there are misunderstandings of things that have been said, our misinterpretation based on how we're feeling at the time. So you can help move this stuck energy simply with these flower essences. So now distress remedy is the main one. It can be used with any of the other 6, and it can be used in addition to any medical regime you're doing or any nutritional program that you're doing as a preventative. So the remedy I want to talk about next is called Release It. It is very helpful in letting go of past hurts that are preventing us from being happy. You know, this is the season of joy and peace and love, and there are some people that just simply can't get into it. And maybe it's because they harbor some kind of a hurt that they simply cannot logically move from their experience. They want to be happy, but they simply can't. And Release It is a wonderful remedy that helps you to move this stuck energy. So Release It is a flower essence formula designed for those who feel emotional pain, anguish, or intense grief, and or who suffer from loneliness, insecurity, and overdependence on others. Release It contains 7 flower essences that help people to let go of their emotional burdens and move forward with life. Release It promotes emotional security and independence, inspires hope and faith, and frees a person to find purpose, fulfillment, and joy in loving and giving to others. So if you know of somebody who, has become like a hermit, not usual for them, maybe this would be a wonderful gift for them to take. Like I said, it has no taste except it's a little sweet. So read about it, Release It, in my website, bornforhealth.com. So, perhaps you're hanging on to some resentment, fear, or anger, or grief, and these emotions are keeping you stuck. They're keeping you from being healthy and happy and reaching your full potential. So it's not only bad, because of this negative energy, which opens you up for disease. It, like we talked about last time, how low vibrations can create the atmosphere for disease to come in and take advantage of that. And this was proven by Dr. Mioda from the Messages in Water. So if you'd like to review that, was the last video I did on essential flowers. So these are the ones that we talked about last time. The ones we're talking about this time come in like a dropper bottle. So Distress Remedy is the main one. Then I just mentioned if you're harboring some kind of hurt, deep hurt, then Release It. These deep hurts, what'll happen is the body will congest over them. And a physical manifestation of a congestion like that is a tumor. So you do not want to have tumors. So help release it, help let it go. This works really well with the square breathing techniques that I taught in a previous video. And so it's diaphragmatic breathing and allowing your body just to let that go. And this breathing connects with the vagus nerve, which is I want to call her the gossip, but it communicates everything that's going on in the body and up to the brain, and then the brain back down, responding to whatever that communication is. So it's really, really important to move this energy and don't just stay stuck in your misery. A lot of times you can't consciously do it. Emotions are not reasonable. They don't even pay attention to telling you, no, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like impulse buying. It doesn't make sense. You simply have to move through it with vibrations. So if you are hanging on to fear, we know that injures the kidneys. If you're hanging on to grief, that injures the lungs and respiratory system. We know that when there is a death of a spouse, that spouse that's left behind will in 6 months have some kind of respiratory distress, often pneumonia. So move that energy. Don't let it set you up for sickness. Anger. There's been tons of papers relating anger to heart disease, hardened heart. So we need to move these emotions, and unresolved grief can weaken the respiratory system. Fear can adversely affect the kidneys, resentment, gallbladder. So all of these emotions have certain areas of the body that they will get stuck in. And this negative energy will just pull you down. So once you have released the emotions, you need the courage and strength to, what's the next step? So then we go to be courageous. Now, I've talked about be courageous before. It's one of my favorite formulas, but you cannot go to be courageous and be successful unless you release what's holding you back. So you have to release it. Now you can take a dropper of release it, breathe, and then take a dropper of be courageous and move through this. So Be Courageous is a flower essence formula designed for those who struggle with self-doubt, fear, and indecision. Be Courageous contains 7 flower essences that help people overcome anxiety and insecurity and develop the inner strength and courage needed to conquer adversity, challenges, and obstacles. How beautiful is that, especially during this time of the year? So we want to make sure that we're taking our release it and then be courageous. There is also a wonderful remedy called Be Responsible. This remedy is helpful when you feel you don't respond to situations the way you would like to. Where did that come from? Or maybe it's a behavior so not like you. You've become addicted to gaming, or you find comfort in alcohol, which is no solution, or drugs for that matter. So this is a great remedy for teens who are addicted to screen time. It also is great for the risk taker. When you're an extreme risk taker, it's because you don't value yourself. And so this helps you to understand your value and appreciate yourself. So it helps you be the person you want to be. So if you've had some bad relationships and are afraid to trust in a new one, Open Heart is an emotional healing remedy for those who have trust issues. It helps us give love and receive love. A lot of us are great at giving gifts, but are not so good at receiving them. And this has to do with identifying with the person within you that deserves goodness and kindness and love and appreciation. If you can't identify with that person who can accept that, then you are treated with disrespect. So it's important for you to accept and know that you deserve this treatment, and being kind to yourself is the first step. So the last of the 7 remedies I work with is called Keep Cool, and women with menopause love this remedy, but it is really great for, men have this thing with the road rage, where, if somebody cuts them off, they're all upset about it and they can't let it go. And it builds and it creates a really congested liver. So Keep Cool helps you to maintain your calm and say, well, off with you. I don't need you. I don't need your negative. I'm going to be healthy and have a healthy attitude about this. So it helps with forgiveness and understanding. Maybe you've had miscommunication in the family. Perhaps everybody at the family should take it. Maybe put it in a pitcher of water and pass it around at Thanksgiving time. Create that atmosphere of calm and goodness and charity within yourselves. So let's talk about some of the way the remedies can be used. First off, because they come in a dropper, you simply can drop them into your mouth. You squeeze the top part and drop it in, making sure you don't touch the dropper, glass dropper, with your tongue or lips at any point, because you don't want to put bacteria into the bottle. You can, if it's too sweet, You can put some in a shot glass, mix it with some water, and drink it that way. This is a great way for children to take it. You can make it like a fun thing, or perhaps your child has been bullied at school. It's unfortunate. They say no bully tolerance, but it happens. And water bottles are accepted in lunch boxes. And so you put a dropper of Distress Remedy in the water bottle, shake it up, and they're good to go. And they can be sipping on that and be calming themselves down. Now, it is best to take the remedies without a meal, but you can take it with a meal too. And in some cases, it may help to set up a better digestive pattern because you're calming your body and allowing that food to be digested. So they're great to give to children. They're great to give to adults. If you have an adult family member who is distressed with memory and cognitive decline, then you can absolutely put some of this in water and calm them down and help them to reorganize. You know, when you're upset, it takes away from the energy that goes into your brain, and you can't think real clearly. So helping your body to calm down and go take some deep breaths is really good. So they can also be used in a bath. Now, I put 3 dropperfuls in a bath. I also like to add lavender, and then you swirl it like in a figure 8, and that re-energizes the entire bath water. And so you can give a bath to somebody and help them to calm down. And maybe you have a child that has a hard time unwinding and getting ready for bed. This is a perfect way to do it. A little lavender, a little bit of Distress Remedy, and you just swirl it around in a warm bathtub, maybe even some Epsom salts. Because of the magnesium in it, and within 15 minutes they're ready to settle down, you know. So I have a friend who uses Distress Remedy with her dog because they get hyper excited whenever there's loud noises. So during a thunderstorm or the 4th of July fireworks and that, she actually puts a little bit on the pads of their paws, and oftentimes they'll lick it, so they're getting it internally. She'll put it in their water so that they can occasionally go to it and drink from it. And animals are very intuitive. If they understand that there's something in that water that's really energetically helpful for them, they will go to it more effectively. So hopefully now you know the difference between flower essences and essential oils. Now, essential oils are those potency of flower. So they're very potent, and you have to be careful. Flower essences have no smell, and you don't have to be that careful. They either work or they don't. There's no ramifications for taking them. So get some Distress Remedy. Go to my website, click on the Distress Remedy. You can get it right off of that. You use it during the stressful times coming all through December and the end of the year. So let go of anger and disappointment and be grateful for the gifts all around you. Be responsible during the times you are with difficult people, and respond with understanding and kindness. Share what you've learned. Recommend these videos to your friends and relatives and all the people around you in your neighborhood. And know that there are solutions out there that are not harmful for them or the environment. Keep focusing on gratitude. This is Thanksgiving. We want to be grateful for all the wonderful things that we have, and our health included. Be thankful for people and gifts of nature and the flowers and all the joy around you. Thank you for viewing. Until next week, this is Dr. Mary for The Health of It.